Some people in the country still raise the
March of 2025. Something strange happens. The supreme leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, decides to speak publicly about possible negotiations with the United States. And what he says reveals everything about how the regime thinks.
I want to say that if the goal of the negotiations is to end the sanctions, negotiating with the American administration will not result in the removal of the sanctions. It will make the knot of sanctions tighten even more.
Khamenei warns, don't trust the Americans. Any agreement with them is a trap. Negotiating is surrendering. This mentality, this absolute distrust, is what will lead the regime to make a fatal mistake 11 months later. February 6th, 2026. Muscat, the capital of Oman. Abbas Araghchi, Iran's Minister of Foreign Affairs, sits in a meeting room. On the other side are Steve Witkoff, Trump's special envoy, and Jared Kushner. Between them, the Omani foreign minister acts as mediator. For the first time since the June war, Iranians and Americans are negotiating again. There are hours of indirect talks. Meanwhile, the world watches, hopeful. When it ends, Araghchi goes straight to Iranian state television and makes the mistake. He announces that Iran is willing to negotiate about the nuclear program, but quickly adds, our ballistic missile program is not on the table. It never was, it never will be, it's not negotiable. But for the American government, this statement closes the door. There's no deal. The reason? Something that happened 9 months earlier, June 13th, 2025. Israel launches Operation Rising Lion. Waves of airstrikes against Iran, but this time the target isn't just military installations. Israel is going after people. Within a few hours, more than 20 senior commanders of the Revolutionary Guard are eliminated. Among them are General Mohammad Bagheri, Chief of Staff, General Hossein Salami, Commander of the Revolutionary Guard, General Amir Ali Hajizadeh, the man who built the Iranian missile program. All dead. Iran's military leadership is decapitated. Iran then responds by launching hundreds of ballistic missiles against Israel, and for the first time they work, break through the defenses, and cause real damage. The Americans watch and decide to enter the war. June 22, 2025. Operation Midnight Hammer. 7 B-2 Spirit bombers take off from Missouri, fly 37 hours straight to Iran, with multiple in-flight refuelings. Each one carries guided bomb unit, 57 bombs, 14 tons each, designed to penetrate 60 meters of reinforced concrete. The targets, Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan, the 3 main Iranian nuclear facilities, built deep inside mountains to be indestructible. Decades of nuclear work disappear in minutes. And then on June 24th, Trump announces a ceasefire. The 12-day war ends. Now let's fast forward 9 months to February 2026. Iran returns to the negotiating table militarily broken. Its leadership has been decapitated, the nuclear program destroyed, but in the minds of the regime, they have discovered something crucial. The ballistic missiles worked. During those 12 days, they pierced the Israeli defenses. And now, sitting in Oman, the Iranians refuse to negotiate precisely the only thing that worked. In their view, the missiles are their life insurance. Trump makes the American position crystal clear in a press conference. If Iran had offered this deal 2 years ago, we would have accepted it, but now we've seen what Iranian missiles can do, we've seen the real damage, and that's why we want the missile program to be part of any agreement. 2 hours after the end of the negotiations in Oman, the United States announces new sanctions. 14 ships from the Iranian Shadow Fleet, 15 entities linked to illegal oil transportation. The message is clear. If you don't give in, we keep tightening, but the sanctions are only part of the pressure. Let's go back to October of 2025. Ayan Bank, one of the largest private banks in Iran, collapses. $5 billion were lost in bad loans to projects linked to the regime. The bank attracted depositors by offering absurd interest rates. A government inspector called it a Ponzi scheme. When it collapses, thousands of Iranian families lose everything. The central bank prints emergency money trying to fill the gap. The result? The currency plummets. A few months later in December, the rial reaches 1.4 million per dollar. Inflation skyrockets, food prices explode, the streets fill with protests, and then comes the most revealing moment.
So in the 90s.
I agree with you. We're at the beginning of the boom. I yield back 2 seconds.
February 5th, 2026. Washington, District of Columbia. Scott Bessent, Secretary of the Treasury, is testifying before the Senate Banking Committee. He coldly explains the American strategy, saying they created an artificial shortage of dollars in Iran. The result was the collapse of Ayan Bank, the bank run, rampant money printing, and the currency crash. And then Bessent says something extraordinary. The good news, Senator, is that we're seeing the Iranian leadership moving money out of the country like crazy. The rats are abandoning the ship. It's a good sign that they know the end may be near. American intelligence is tracking the transfers, seeing fortunes being moved. The regime's elite is running away with the money. While the elite flees, the regime goes on the attack. February 3rd, 2026. Strait of Hormuz. 3 days before the negotiations in Oman, 6 boats from the Revolutionary Guard surround the American oil tanker Stena Imperative, armed with 50 caliber machine guns and order over the radio, "Stop your engines and prepare to be boarded." The captain ignores the order and speeds up. The destroyer United States ship McFall approaches with air support. The boats retreat. On the same day, an American fighter jet shoots down an Iranian drone that approached the aircraft carrier United States ship Abraham Lincoln. Iran was determined to close the strait through which 20% of the world's oil passes. 2 days later, the United States Department of State issues a security alert. Every American citizen in Iran must leave immediately. If you can't, stock up on water, food, and fuel. Prepare to shelter in place. Airlines are canceling flights. The internet could go down at any moment. If you need to escape by land, use Armenia or Turkey. Now stop and think for a moment. No one writes this kind of warning expecting peace. It's the language of someone preparing for war. And there's another sign. The Trump administration is receiving figures from the Iranian opposition in Florida. You don't plan a post-war government if you believe the current regime will survive. It's quite clear that Washington has a Plan B, and Plan B is regime change. And right after the negotiations, in an interview, Arakti made the Iranian threat crystal clear. He said, "If America attacks us, we don't have the capability to reach American territory. Therefore, we will attack American bases in the region, and this will bring the entire region to war." This is a real threat. Meanwhile, the second round of negotiations is scheduled, and everything indicates that it will fail as well. After all, Iran has already made it clear that it will not negotiate its missiles. They know that without them, the regime will fall. However, the United States rejects any agreement that leaves the missiles in place. It's a dead end, but Iran's time is running out. They desperately need relief from sanctions. They need to start selling oil again. They need dollars. But they're trying to do the impossible: get the economic deal and keep the missiles. Those two things can't exist together. Every day the pressure increases, lawsuits and protests grow, money flees, and the elite abandon ship. At some point, something is going to break. It could be an uprising that overthrows the regime, it could be a total economic collapse, or it could be a new war, this time to finish what started in June. Iran's mistake wasn't going to Oman to negotiate, but sitting at that table and refusing the only card that could have saved them. They chose missiles, they bet on a bluff when they had no more chips on the table. The clock is ticking. The second round of negotiations is scheduled for this week. The next few days will determine whether we move toward a historic agreement or what many are calling the biggest war in the Middle East in decades. If you want to really understand what's happening as it happens, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I'll keep following every development in this story and bringing you all the details. See you in the next video.